watching.
Oh, thanks for your time.
That's why they've gone to bed.
Sure. How bad is it?
It's pretty bloody terrible.
People power kills off the cash for votes deal.
The public have spoken and the bill is dead.
Police charge more than 30 people over the Banksia Hill riot.
Well, I think I've got it at the moment.
But not from everywhere. Collingwood lets Eddie Maguire stay on as president. And fast-track changes allow alcohol without a meal. Good evening, James McHale with ABC News. Labor and the Coalition have ditched their idea of awarding $60 million in taxpayer money to political parties. The end came after Tony Abbott sensed a revolt in his ranks and reneged on a written agreement to push the bills through Parliament.
The Politician, ABC News, Canberra.
The engine driving the economy is slowing sharply. New figures are showing that spending on investment is drying up as the mining boom cools. Despite that, there are some encouraging signs for the future.
Australia's miners are shelving projects, car makers are leaving the country, retailers are collapsing and business leaders have their concerns.
Our biggest fear would be a deterioration in confidence, and because that impacts both consumers but also
helpful in the quest to invest. Philip Lasker, ABC News.
The head of ASIO says a clerical error may have led his staff to initially clear a convicted murderer and terrorist for community detention. The Egyptian asylum seeker came to Australia by boat last May. A court in Egypt had convicted him of offences which included premeditated murder, having explosives, membership of a terror group and forgery. The opposition's demanding to know why he was held in a low-security Inverbrachy detention centre in Adelaide.
Well, this person should be in the highest security section of the detention environment that exists. He should have been there for some time. There shouldn't be an assessment of this person's claim because they are a convicted terrorist.
ASIO says a subsequent check revealed the man's conviction and he was never actually released from detention. The Foreign Minister Bob Carr has rejected pleas to intervene in the case of an Australian man sentenced on terrorism charges in Saudi Arabia. Shaden Thorne, who's originally from Perth, is facing the next 3 years in a Saudi prison.
Shaden Thorne was found guilty on 5 charges, including supporting and encouraging terrorism. He was charged after incriminating material was found on a computer he'd been using.
I spoke to the Foreign Minister, but they argue this is a matter for their judicial system, their police and their prosecutor. The same argument that a foreign government would get here about a national in trouble under Australian law. But he's in trouble under Saudi law.
Yeah. The NBN boss, Mike Quigley, is likely to be grilled on the matter when he fronts a Senate estimates hearing tonight. Simon Palin, ABC News.
In WA, police have charged 7 men over the illegal harvest of native sandalwood worth more than $1 million in the wheat belt and goldfields. Northern detectives, along with environment and conservation officers, began a sting operation last year. They raided several properties and uncovered more than 100 tonnes of the native timber. Police say the operation is continuing.
If you intend doing it, everyone in the community is aware and they're quite happy to report it to police and we'll take action.
6 men from the goldfields are facing stealing charges and a 7th man from the wheat belt has been charged with receiving. The state government has promised to increase penalties for sandalwood theft but says it's still working on the legislation. The state government has fast-tracked changes to make it easier for restaurants, which seat up to 120 people, to serve alcohol without a meal. From next week, restaurants will be able to apply for a $50 permit, which they will receive within 10 working days. Currently, the process can take months and cost more than $400.
I respect the growing sophistication of Western Australians to make this work well. So I'm pleased that that election commitment has been able to be delivered earlier.
It's about flexibility. It's about modernising our hospitality businesses without them becoming full-on taverns or bars.
Mr Barnett says the government still intends to legislate to reflect the change. removing the need for the permit. To business news, new technology companies say they're being crippled by prohibitive tax laws, which stop them attracting the best workers. As a result, Australia is losing many startups and possibly tens of billions of dollars to foreign shores, and it's forcing the government to look for a fix.
For the team at this Sydney tech startup, working through tens of thousands of lines of code is child's play compared to navigating through Australia's tax laws.
As a startup founder,
Australian squad, but cricket officials have been lobbying the government to make the changes. In the AFL, the Dockers are edging closer to fielding their first choice 22, with midfielder Stephen Hill returning for Saturday's match against the Crows in Adelaide. Hill's inclusion is the only change to the team, which hopes to continue its rise up the ladder against the in-form Crows.
Stephen Hill did very little at training earlier this week, but he's been named to make his return after a month out with a quad injury. Hill's inclusion boosts the Dockers as they prepare to tackle one of the best midfields in the competition. I think it's going to... Coast Eagles have named Andrew Embley, Adam Selwood and Patrick McGinnity in a 25-man squad for Monday night's match against Richmond at Subiaco. The Eagles will finalise their team Friday afternoon. Clint Thomas, ABC News.
1988, Australia will get a new modern facility for the next Biennale. To the weather now, and if you thought it was chilly today, it was Perth's coldest May day since 2004. The minimum of 11.3 was just before 9 a.m, rising to just 14.6 just before 20 to 4 this afternoon. An overnight cold front brought moderate rainfall to the Perth metro area, 13.6 millimetres up to 9 o'clock this morning, with a further 3.4 since. Currently, it is 11.3 with 67% humidity. There's been some significant rain over the southwest, along with the odd storm. The state's minimum was 4 degrees at Bulga Downs. It was generally sunny over the north, with very light showers over parts of the Kimberley. Fitzroy Crossing and Curtin RAAF base were the state's warmest centres, with 35 degrees. A wide band of cloud across central parts is leading to showers. The cloud over the southwest brought showers and the odd storm. A trough over the eastern Pilbara will move into the Kimberley tomorrow, and the cold front over the south will bring cold, unstable air in its wake. A low pressure system south will move eastwards ahead of an approaching strong high pressure system. Around the country tomorrow, a shower or two for Brisbane and Hobart, a little rain expected in Sydney, Canberra, Melbourne and Adelaide. There's a gale warning for the Esperance coast, strong wind warnings for the Pilbara coast west and the Ningaloo, Gascoyne, Geraldton, Lewin, Albany and Eucla coasts, and a warning to sheep graziers for the central wheat belt, Great Southern, southeast coastal and south coastal forecast districts. On to WA tomorrow, mostly sunny over the north with some early rain possible over parts of the Pilbara. Showers along the southern coast through the Eucla, Goldfields, interior and southeast Gascoyne. Thunderstorms possible along the southern coasts in the morning, frosts possible over southern inland parts. Mostly sunny for Perth, with areas of frost possible early in the morning, a top of 17 after a cold 2 degrees. The sun will rise at 7:08 and set at 5:20. Looking ahead, mostly sunny and 19 Saturday. The sun shining through the long weekend, 20 on Sunday and Monday. Showers developing on Tuesday, sticking around until Thursday with a top of 20. Now, recapping our top stories, Labor and the Coalition have shelved a plan to award themselves $60 million in campaign money. Figures show the slump in investment spending during the March quarter was the biggest in 3.5 years. And the Collingwood Football Club board gives full backing to Eddie Maguire after his racist comments about Indigenous player Adam Goodes. And that's ABC News for now. For news at any time, though, go to our website or follow us on Twitter at ABC News Perth. Thanks for your company, take care, and good night.